forget about the GSA's scandalous spending. Is the government's green agenda spending the real scandal for taxpayers? Hello, everyone. I'm Charles Payne in for Neil Cavuto. And at $823,000 blown by the GSA in Vegas, chump change. Just this week, First Solar dimming the lights on 2,000 jobs after getting $16 million in tax breaks. And that $60 light bulb, well, that hits store shelves tomorrow. And guess what? The government paid the company $10 million to make them. But the president's doubling down.
I want clean energy to happen here in the United States. It's time for us to double down on clean energy that has never been more promising.
It's the right way for us to put people to work right now.
Sounds like someone's chasing a bad hand. Will we all end up busted? To Ben Stein, Amelia Antonetti, Adam Lashinsky, and Charlie Gasparino. And Amelia, I got to start with you on this one. We're doubling down, tripling down.
And this scares the heck out of me because we're subsidizing his initiative of wanting to build the green market, and he's picking the companies that the private sector pass on over and over again. Why? Because the math doesn't work. But he's going to foot the bill, and we are at the end.
Ben, I want to talk to you because, you know, the $60 light bulb, obviously, I always think about you when we talk about light bulbs, and you have just an amazing assortment of light bulbs. And by the way, I'm jealous. My wife has been trying to collect them. We can't catch up to you, but this is crazy, isn't it? I mean, really, this green agenda, we're going nowhere.
Well, I am all in favor of a green agenda. I'm all in favor of trying to get the Earth as clean as it can be. If global warming is real, and I guess it is, I want to do whatever it takes to get the Earth not to be too warm. That's uncomfortable for humans and animals and trees. But the president is doing Orwellian thought control here, telling people what they have to do. I think educating people about what their choices are, that's fine. Educating people about what the consequences are if there's a warming planet, that's great. But to try to control people's behavior, try to control it down to very small details, that to me is Orwellian mind control, and I don't like it.
So, Adam, I don't know, this Orwellian mind control sounds like that social Darwinism. I'm not sure. I'm kind of conflicting the two, but certainly, you know, after all of these scandals, after all of the waste and all of these stories, it feels like maybe it's just a bad idea for the president to pursue this and think he can probably be reelected on this platform.
Well, Charles, I don't know how much time I've got to dispute all the disinformation that we're giving people here. I mean, first of all, I admire the effort to match the GSA waste porn with the subject that we're discussing here, since they obviously have nothing to do with each other. But let's move on.
Okay, go ahead, Adam.
So here's an interesting observation for you about First Solar, which had layoffs because the solar market is getting creamed. You know why the solar market is getting creamed? Because China has a more aggressive green agenda than we do. So, you know, we can't have it both ways.
They're subsidizing failure more than we do. They are subsidizing failure more than we do.
As for the light bulbs, I'll just finish my point, Charlie. As for the light bulbs, we have a long history of codes and standards for a variety of reasons, including safety, including health, including what the government, various governments, thinks are the right way to build things, and this is one of them.
Adam, a lot of people would actually argue that these new light bulbs are indeed significantly more dangerous than anything that we're using right now, but I want to go back to Charlie.
A lot of people would argue that Mars is made of cheese, but that doesn't necessarily make it made of cheese.
The moon.
The moon. Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
The lunacy of, I mean, first off, let's talk about China. China is subsidizing failure, and, you know, sort of command control economies can do that. One of the great things about the markets is that it weeds out failure fast, and these solar panels obviously do not work to the extent that people like Adam think they work, because you know why? If they did, guess what? GE would be selling them.
The free market would be eating this whole thing up. There's no doubt about it.
Walking into a store across the street, we should also point out that global warming, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but the science is still out on it. It's not a total.
What about the science being out on the moon being made of cheese?
Right, it's definitely out on that too.
Okay.
And we should point out, before we end this, on the Buffett tax, which went down in flames this week, thank God. One of the reasons why they wanted to do that tax was to finance this stuff that doesn't work.
But we got to get really strategic right now about putting our money into jobs that are actually going to stay there, not give people half hope. They go into a green company, they think they have the job, then they're laid off. They go back into the system all over again.
And,
so you want to?
Here was the biggest sin of Solandra, Adam, or whatever the hell you call that company. Solyndra, it's the fact that we use stimulus money when people were out of work to finance that pie-in-the-sky dream of
when the math didn't work from day one. The math didn't work.
And Adam, I will say the premise of this whole thing is that the GSA scandal involved almost $1 million. We're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars being poured into something that, by the way, I give these guys credit. You go to these websites of these solar companies and they admit, we're going to take $1 billion and create 10 full-time jobs. I mean, that's chutzpah for you, but it seems like a waste of time and money, and certainly at the wrong time.
And you know how many small businesses we could have started with that? How many businesses could have started that predictable outcome would have been success?
And so just so I'm clear, Amelia, you want to pick and choose those, though, right? You want to pick and choose
let's trust the American public. Let's educate them about the dangers of global warming and the dangers of a dirty environment, and then let's let them make the choice. Let's not have command and control come to America.
Adam?
That's fine, but we have a rich history in the United States of investing heavily in important themes like space or what became the internet, or the billions of dollars that goes into basic research in healthcare that becomes the drug industry.
And
I mean, I could go on and on,
and
that's what's going on here.
Pick whatever theme you want, but mathematically have a return on investment that makes sense when you're going to use our tax dollars.
No, it doesn't work that way. Not for any of the industries that I just named.
I'm going to go to Charlie, because I think one thing I don't like here is that we're actually using the word invest, because I don't consider these investments. I really don't.
Listen, I mean, government does play a role in some of these nascent technologies, the internet that Al Gore invented, right? Was it Al Gore that invented?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Right.
How dare you question that?
Yes, that's right. So the internet that Al Gore helped invent was actually began as a military project. So, I mean, listen, there is a point to be made that we need to invest some of this. The problem the president has is that he wants to spend so much money, and he masks, Ben is right, he's Orwellian and duplicitous. He masks the investment as stimulus, as putting people to work, when these are technologies that don't work yet. Nobody's going to work. They may work in the future.
It's a gamble.
And by the way, if he leveled with the American people, they would be outraged.
I want to wrap this up by going back to you, Ben. You made the point, obviously, the government's role and warning us about things that are good for us. However, that role does not extend to actually taking our money and putting it toward pet projects, particularly those that are failing miserably.
Well, I'd say the space program was a defense program, really, in the final analysis. That's obviously the government's role, telling us what kind of light bulbs to use, telling us what kind of power source to use. That is not a defense issue, at least not in the first analysis. I question whether it's the government's roles.
All right, we'll leave it there. By the way, the highway program was a defense issue also.
It worked perfectly. It worked unbelievably well.
Yeah, and they work well. So we'll leave it there.